Hello everyone, this is Cari for Redesign with Prima, and as promised, I am going to do this tutorial showing you how I made these gorgeous, beautiful ornaments. I showed them a little bit on our release video for the mold chapter, so I went more in depth on how I created these for you. So I used the Timeless Ties Decor Mold as well as the Bright Baubles. And these are amazing molds. You can make Christmas ornaments all year round. It's going to be amazing. So I cast these in clear resin, and then I added some gold leafing to the backs. It gives it that beautiful glow. And I start by adding my gilding glue very evenly to the backs of both of these ornaments. Now what you want to do with gilding glue is apply it with a brush as evenly as possible, and then set it aside just for a few minutes and let it get tacky. So it's hard to see on something like this because normally you let it go from white to clear, and that's how you know it's ready. And on these, it's a little bit more difficult to see. So what you want to do is just leave it, and then every once in a while just check it, and you can take your finger very lightly and just see if it's tacky. Once it is, then you are ready to go ahead and apply the gold leafing. So next, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the Kasha imitation gold leaf sheets. These are so beautiful, and they come in the pack. And what I like to do is just gently take them and just drape them over the area where the glue is applied, very, very carefully. Because if you do this too roughly, you could actually tear or rip the gold leaf. So just take your time with this, and like I said, just gently lay it over, just as I'm doing here. And I tap it down just a little bit. I don't brush with my fingers, I just tap. And you can also take a very soft brush and also tap onto the back of the ornament just to make sure that the glue and the gold leaf touch. So then you know you have coverage. You also want to set these aside because it does take a little bit of time for that gilding glue to really set and dry. So don't go ahead and remove the gold leaf right away, just wait. Because it'll become very messy. So now I'm just carefully taking off the excess from around the edges, and save those bits because you can still use them later for other projects, which I of course do. I don't waste. And it looks really, really good. There are a little bit of creases and wrinkles, but that's okay. They burnish out. And I use a soft brush to go along the edges just to get a little bit more of those little bits off. All right, my gold leaf is all ready to go, nice and dry, and now I'm going to decorate the front. I love the Finnabair Sparks paints. They are so sparkly and shimmery, and they do stay on the resin permanently. So I think that's fabulous. Now I'm going to just add this paint to the top and the bottom of the ornament, just adding a light layer. You don't need to add a lot. This paint goes a very, very long way, and it, you already have the gold leaf to the back, so it's not necessary to do like extra coats or full coverage. And I just use my brush and I go in very gently and just apply this, as evenly as possible. And you'll see how shimmery and sparkly it is, and it adds another dimension to the ornament itself. All right, next I am using my secret weapon, which is the Finnabair Fluid Medium. Now this fluid medium is normally used with our liquid acrylics or other paints as a paint extender, but it is so shiny when it dries. And so our molds are matte, so they don't come out shiny, they come out with this matte finish when using with resin. So I just add a coat of this fluid medium to give it just that shine and to really bring out that gold, and I allow that to dry completely. Another thing I wanted to show you was our new molds. Look at that. They are symmetrical, so you can put them back to back just for future knowledge. So imagine if you added other things to the back of the ornament, you'll be able to see it. It's so cool. You can make dimensional ornaments. All right, now my fluid medium is completely dry, and I'm going to add the H2O Transfers. This is Azure Florals 2. Now, H2O transfers are so easy to use. They're activated with water, and we have a variety of beautiful designs to choose from. So I love this blue, but it comes out more purpley, which is even better, I think. And I cut out the shape or the design that I want to use on the front of the ornament and carefully place it where I want it to be. You can trace with the ornament ahead of time when they're clear. That also helps with, cutting out the design in a proper shape or size that you want. Now you want the blue side down and the gray side up. So you're going to remove that protective sheet, and then you can spray a little bit of water on the surface that you're going to add it to, and then carefully add the design where you want it to go. Again, the gray side is up facing you, so that's very important. And I have to trim it just a little bit more to make sure that it fits. And don't worry, those little florals that I cut off, I end up using on the sides. I add them after I use this. So that's really important to know that you can layer them, and it works absolutely fine. Now I go over the pattern with a little bit of water. So I'm using my mister because it adds just a little bit of water at a time. And I really work it into that paper. So you want to make sure that it's fully saturated, not overly saturated, but nice and wet. You can use our scraper just to make sure that the pattern is applied to the surface properly, but it's not really necessary. I just like to show it because on larger projects, the scraper tool is really handy. On a smaller project like this, you don't really need to use it, but I like to have this tool because I've used it on the H2Os and other projects, and it's really helped get that pattern down nicely and smoothly. And it also helps work the water around. Next, I'm using Ice Queen. This is a Metallic paint by Finnabair. And what I do is I just paint over my Timeless Ties little bow. So I wanted this to match the transfer once it was done. And this paint goes over it so beautifully. And it will be somewhat transparent, so you can add more coats to make sure that it's more solid. All right, now that my bows have been painted, I also decided to add another layer of paint. This is called Iris Potion, sorry. This is another Sparks paint. And layering the paints sometimes can create a really beautiful dimensional finish. So you can get multicolors and on one casting, which is really nice. And here I am adding a little bit more of the transfer to the other bauble. Now I did have a casting, a clear one, so I can show you what I mean. When you put that over that, you can trace it with a pen or pencil, and then you know exactly where to cut out the design. And again, I'm just repeating the process of how to apply the transfer. Peeling off the protective coating, spritzing, laying it down, and then adding more water to the back of this transfer. And it worked perfectly. Another thing I wanted to mention, it's obvious that you can use these H2O transfers on a shiny surface, but sometimes that's not so obvious. So you can use it on glass and mirror and wood and plastic, which makes it really, really diverse and wonderful when you're decorating different home decor accessories. Now, I literally pulled that off within seconds and it worked. And look at the detail, look at the roses. I absolutely love how these came out. This was really, really beautiful. And the gold shines through, and then you can just add your bows wherever you want them. I suggest using a super glue to attach the bows, but you can certainly use just a little dollop of resin if you happen to have some. And now I'm going over the top of those transfers with more of that fluid medium. So it not only seals it, but it makes it even more shiny. And then go ahead and add it to the entire surface of the ornament. Here is another little trick I wanted to show you with the gold leafing. If you have little ridges or edges that you want to remove, the polishing pad works wonderfully for smoothing out that gold foil. It's pretty amazing. I wanted to test it and try it first, and it worked like a charm. And now I'm adding a little bit more of the transfers now to the other little piece, the other little casting that I got from the mold. And I don't know, I just wanted to show you different ideas and ways that you could use these transfers on the different shapes, and it was pretty wonderful. Now, if you don't cut the H2O transfer exactly, like perfect, and you have a little bit that hangs off, don't panic. I just leave it and I take my finger and I go along toward the back of the ornament and just kind of pull it off a little bit. But you can let it dry and then maybe even pull it off then, but it came off just fine. So if you don't, cut it out perfectly, it's not anything to worry about. And now I'm going to go ahead and put the Metallic Ice Queen paint directly to the ornament because it has a little bow already on it, which I love. So I just do a nice even layer, and you can see that it's somewhat transparent when you add this paint. So this is why I layered the two different colors. The gold still shines through, and you get a really, really nice effect with the different colors layered together. I just think that this was a wonderful technique, and it really adds a really unique look. Okay, here is the second layer. This is the Irish Potion, and I just go over it once that first layer of Ice Queen Metallic paint is dry, and you can see it makes almost like an iridescent look. It's actually really cool. I really love how it turned out, and it matches the two colors together, match the transfer perfectly. And I just make sure I go along the edges as evenly as possible, and it just looks so pretty when it's finished. And here I just show when I add the Irish Potion first and then the Ice Queen, and then the Ice Queen with the Irish Potion next. So the two together, if you layer one over the other, gives you a different effect. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial today. We do have kits available through our Redesign retailers, and I will make sure that I link to them so that you can get a kit for yourself and make these gorgeous ornaments for Christmas. And you can even make them as gifts. And there are tons of H2O transfers left over. Even after making around 5 or 6 of these, I still have plenty. So you can make them over and over again. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe because we are going to have a lot more ornament tutorials coming soon. Thank you.